All right, I will welcome you all to the Clearview Township Committee of Adjustment on Wednesday, 13th of August at 3 o'clock. We'll start with a land acknowledgement. I would like to begin our meeting by recognizing the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Teonatani, Wendat, and is the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask for guidance in all we do. For those that were here last month, can I get a vote, a show of hands? Any issues, problems, queries with last month's minutes? Voted to accept? Carried. Any pecuniary interest in the 3 files we are about to see today? Seeing none, we can fly right on. The Committee of Adjustment today will consider 1 minor variance and 2 consent applications scheduled under public hearings. The Planning Act requires that a public hearing be held before the Committee of Adjustment decides whether or not to pass a consent or minor variance. The public hearing serves 2 purposes. First, to present to the Committee of Adjustment and the public the details and the background to the application. And second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before a decision is made. For each application, the Secretary Treasurer will summarize the proposal, and we will then put it on file. We will motion it and put it on file. Then the planning staff will provide all the pertinent information that is relevant to the application. From there, the applicant will be provided the opportunity to make a presentation, followed by questions from either us or the presenter, either in favor or against the proposal. Over to you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Notice of the statutory public hearing for these applications was circulated in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, Chapter P13. Notice for these applications was posted on the subject properties and circulated by email to those persons, departments, and agencies likely to have an interest in the applications. I skipped a paragraph. Notice was posted on or before July 28th, 2025, which was at least 14 days prior to the hearing. Notice was delivered to property owners within 60 meters of the subject properties and circulated by email to those persons, departments, and agencies likely to have an interest in the applications. Notice was also posted to the township website. Included with each notice was a legal description of the property and a description of the proposed changes.
Perfect. We will scream right along to consent file 25-B07. If you could read the motion, sir.
Thank you. Next slide. This is a consent file. Here is a key map of the site. Next slide, please. Comments were received from the Township Public Works and Engineering Department, Building Department, NVCA Source Water Protection, NVCA Planning Department, the Ministry of Transportation for Ontario, Hydro One, and the NEC. And the staff recommendation is that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approves consent number 25-B07 with conditions on the basis that the application is consistent with and conforms to provincial policies, the County of Simcoe and Township official plans, and represents good planning, and is subject to the following conditions. 1, that the owner meets all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality. 2, that a registrable legal description of the severed lands and retained lands, if requested, be provided to the Secretary Treasurer, together with a survey plan prepared by an Ontario land surveyor, illustrating the consent consistent with the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. 3, that any mortgage on the property be discharged from the lands being severed from 1583 Concession 10 South, and that the solicitor provides an undertaking in writing that this condition will be fulfilled. 4, that the applicant's solicitor obtains a cancellation certificate from the township to ensure that the severed and receiving parcel merge as one parcel. The cancellation certificate shall be obtained and all instruments be registered in an order and manner to the satisfaction of the township. 5, that the solicitor provides an undertaking that the severed lands are transferred into the ownership of the Bruce Trail Conservancy. 6, that upon fulfillment of all other conditions of approval, the owner submit a request to the Secretary Treasurer for a certificate of consent for the severed lands and retained lands, if requested, which shall be given to the by the Secretary Treasurer conclusive evidence that the consent was given and that the provisions of the Planning Act leading to the consent have been complied with. And 7, that a covenant be registered on title of the severed lands that would preserve the lands for conservation purposes, and that no building permit for a dwelling is available. This requirement may be fulfilled by a means to the satisfaction of the township solicitor, which may include a precursory undertaking.
Thank you very much. Do we have a first and seconder for this said motion before we hear the rest of the file? All right, we have it on the floor. Over to the planning staff. Do you have anything of a presentation to add?
I do, thank you. So this is to sever a portion of land, 9.3 hectares, to give to the Bruce Trail Conservancy to preserve and protect it. Next slide. Here we have the site plan. So in red is the retained lands, in green is the severed lands, and then there's a small arrow pointing to kind of like a yellowy green piece of land, and that would be the receiving lands. Next slide. Just some site photos, south and north on concession 10 south, and the notice sign being posted. There is an existing agricultural building and dwelling on the retained lands. And then just some photos of the severed lands, which are way back behind the pond that I didn't quite walk over to, but pointed to with the red arrow. And then as Colin has put forward all of the conditions there, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone here to represent this file? None, seeing none.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Joel Swagerman. I represent the Bruce Trail Conservancy, and I don't have anything to add to what staff have already presented, so I'm just here to answer any questions if there are any.
So my first question would be that you understand the conditions that go with the motion at hand in front of us, right?
I do, yes.
Is there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is this going to be used for parking?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there is no option for parking on this subject property. We don't have frontage except through the adjoining piece of land, but there are no plans for parking.
You are satisfied, sir, with that answer? All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So Danielle, I understand the receiving part, then they already own the little part that's receiving this extra 9 acres, correct?
Correct.
All right. If there are no other questions, we can take a vote on the motion before us. All in favor? Carried. There is a 20-day appeal period, sir, at which point the staff and Mr. Collin to my right, your left on the TV screen will become your best friend. Thank you very much for participating in today's meeting.
Thanks, everybody.
Screaming right along to consent file 25-B08, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. This is a consent file for 7972 Highway 26. And on the next slide, we have a key map of the site. Comments were received from the Township Public Works and Engineering Department, Building Department, NVCA Source Water Protection, NVCA Planning, MTO, and the Hydro One. And the staff recommendation is that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approves consent 25B08 with conditions on the basis that the application is consistent with and conforms to provincial policies, the County of Simcoe and Township official plans, and represents good planning, and be subject to the following conditions. 1, that the owner meet all requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality. 2, that the applicant provides a description of the land which may be registered under the requirements of the Registry Act or Land Titles Act as applicable. 3, that any mortgage on the property be discharged from any lands being severed from 7972 Highway 26, and that the solicitor provides an undertaking in writing that this condition will be fulfilled. 4, that the owners convey the land to be severed, approximately 6.5 hectares, from 7972 Highway 26 into the same name as the owner of the abutting land to the north, 8012 Highway 26, and being assessed as roll number 4329-010-002-14400 to the satisfaction of the Township of Clearview. And 5, that the applicant successfully clears all conditions and receives a certificate of consent for consent 25B08 to the satisfaction of the municipality.
Thank you very much, Colin. Can we get a first and seconder on this motion before us? All right, it is on the floor. Over to the planning staff for their lovely presentation.
Thank you. So this application is to sever approximately 6.5 hectares. We'll see a photo in a second, to provide some additional space on the lot for an agricultural facility, to provide sufficient setbacks to the lot line for the facility to operate and expand, I believe. Next slide. So here we can just see the purple, maybe pink, a small sliver there that will go to the north. You can't quite see it being so far away, but you can see all the little circles on the green being the receiving parcel. Those are all agricultural silo building structures, and they require that additional space with this proposed severed lands. Next slide. So south and north on Highway 26 and the sign being posted on the property. The receiving lands, you can see the existing dwelling and then all those agricultural buildings that they're looking for that additional space on the lot for. And then a photo of the retained lands that shows the so the left arrow kind of shows those agricultural buildings in the back. The middle arrow is the dwelling on the retained lands. And then the right arrow is, I believe, an accessory building on the retained lands. Just another photo of the severed lands looking from the retained lands. And then all the conditions that Colin has already laid out. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Danielle. Is there someone from the Dunlop family to speak on this file before us today?
Good afternoon, Chair.
Hello?
Hello, I'm online. It's Christine Loft and I'm representing the Dunlops.
Do you have anything to add to the
I
material that
don't
we have
really, I
before
was
us?
going through you, I was just going to give an overview, but I do believe staff has provided a good overview. This is a consent application for a lot addition and just confirming that the retained lands as well as the benefiting lands will both fully meet the zoning on the property and would not trigger any type of amendment. So it is simply a lot addition and it allows Mr. Dunlop a little more room on the south side of the existing structures as staff have indicated. And those are my comments.
Perfect. Is there any questions from the panel? Yes, sir.
I think if I blew it up correctly, hopefully, I don't know who has the answer, but does that show a Bell telephone right of way or something diagonal across the property? Any idea, Brian? Yes. Still registered, or do you know, or, yeah? Yeah, but it's nothing buried there, nothing there, it's just. Yeah.
All right, you're satisfied? Is there any other questions to either the applicant or the planning staff before us? Seeing none, take a vote on the motion that is on the floor before us. All in favor? Carried. It is a 20-day appeal period, at which point in time the municipal staff and Colin to my right will be your best friend to finish this off. I thank you very much for your participation in today's meeting.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, minor variance file 25-A11, sir.
Thank you. This is a minor variance for 2616 Fairgrounds Road South. Next slide, please. The applicant requested that this application be deferred to the next committee meeting to discuss details with staff. And so the staff recommendation is that be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby defers minor variance 25A11 pertaining to lands at 2616 Fairgrounds Road South to the September 10th meeting of the Committee of Adjustment.
All right, can I get a first and seconder on said motion? All right. Is there any discussion other this? We're just going to defer this? All right, all in favor? Carried. It's deferred to our September meeting. This concludes the public portion of our wonderful meeting. I thank you all for participating. If you're still online. Any new business, Colin?
No new business at this time.
I'm going to assume we have a September 10th meeting because we at least have one file.
We do. Our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025.
All right, cool. Anything else anyone wanted to add? Say on the record? None? Motion for adjournment? Carried. Motion adjourned 3:15. Well done.